So softballers, I know you guys get tight sometimes, so I'm gonna give you some exercises and mobility work that you can do to mobilize your upper body. And for that, we're gonna use a lacrosse ball. So we're gonna go over a couple different ways that you can get to areas that you might have some soft tissue restriction in. A lot of these areas I'm gonna use the lacrosse ball to kind of mobilize the area. So with all of this, you want to think about a spot that might be tight or something that you've overworked. So for softball players, you're thinking about the shoulder blade, the mid-back, maybe even the front of like your pec. All that you can get into with a lacrosse ball, and you can either put yourself against a wall or you can just apply pressure into the area. When you get to the area that's really tight or that's kind of sore, you want to stay there for about 15 to 20 seconds and just massage that area. So these are some examples of spots that might be problematic that you want to get into the soft tissue and work. We'll work first into the pec, so you can just put the lacrosse ball in the front of your chest and then just apply some gentle pressure. When you find a spot, you just kind of roll it clockwise and counterclockwise. You can also stretch in and out of it to get a little bit more, of like into the muscle belly. All right, so that's the pec. Against the wall, you can actually get in between your shoulder blade. So you're gonna just place the ball right in between your scap. And then you can roll up and down. When you get to a spot that you feel is a little tighter, stay there. And then with this one, you can also give yourself a little bit more of a stretch and pull your arm across. With this, you just want to make sure you avoid putting the ball right on the spine. So go to the side of the spine. We'll get to the back of the shoulder as well. So with this one, you can put the lacrosse ball like almost in your armpit. So you got right in here, and then you can kind of mobilize that yourself. This is another one that you can get on the wall and do. Get here, then kind of lean into it, massage it out. And then you can kind of get a static stretch going with that as well. Okay, so we're gonna talk about some different ways and some different areas that you can mobilize and soft tissue massage yourself or self-move with the foam roll. A lot of these areas are gonna be lower body or low back. So if you can think about just kind of moving yourself down your entire like posterior chain or the back of your leg. It's not gonna really feel comfortable, but it gets the job done. So you can get the outside of your glute by just bending one leg and then using your arm as some counter support. You know, just roll back and forth on it, coming from the hip to like the bottom of your glute. You can angle it more so it's posterior, and then you can angle it so it's lateral. All right, and then you can move yourself down into your hamstring using both arms, pushing yourself back and forth on that. Get to a spot that you feel like is a little tight, you can stay there a little bit longer and roll. And you can move yourself down to your calf, same thing. With the calf and the hamstring too, if you have enough upper body strength, you can do it with both legs at the same time. So now we're gonna mobilize the front of our legs. So we're gonna get into the quad and then we'll get into the inner thigh. So this one, you start at your hip. You're still using your arms as leverage. Start up high, and then roll yourself down. You'll probably feel it kind of in the middle of your quad. So when you get there, you just stay there for a few seconds. So you can go from the hip all the way down to the knee. And you can do both at one time as well. Okay, so we're gonna mobilize the inner thigh now, so the adductor. So the top leg is the leg that's gonna be on the foam roll. And you're using the leverage of your arm and your opposite leg. Just gonna push yourself up. You can go from the knee to like the top of your groin area. And it's gonna kind of rock back and forth on that. If you get to a spot, stay there for a little bit longer. So we're gonna use the foam roll to mobilize like our mid and lower back. So the easiest way to kind of get on this foam roll is you're gonna sit, use your legs for support, and then you're just gonna slowly roll back. Support your head so that your neck is stable, and then just stay there. Try to relax, and then roll back and forth on that. Get to a spot that you're feeling, you can stay there. Usually mid-back is a spot. Just rock back and forth. So we just went over some stretches and mobility exercises that you can do with the foam roll and with the lacrosse ball.